coverage denials, and policy non-renewals. That case marked the first time a state attorney general had ever enforced a comprehensive data privacy law. Texas is seeking penalties of at least $17,000 for each violation of the state's insurance code and data privacy law, plus $10,000 per data brokering violation, plus full restitution for every affected consumer. While Allstate tracked people through their phones, Toyota was doing something similar through its vehicles, and it produced one of the clearest examples of just how invasive this data sharing has become. Philip Siefke, a driver from Eagle Lake, Florida, bought a 2021 Toyota RAV4 in March of that year. Nearly 4 years later, in January of 2025, he went online to sign up for a new insurance policy with Progressive. During the process, he specifically opted out of Progressive's Snapshot program, their voluntary driving data tracking tool. A pop-up appeared on his screen right after. Progressive already had his driving data, including a hard brake from the day before. Less than 24 hours had passed between that break and Progressive knowing about it. Siefke called Progressive and demanded an explanation for how they had his information, and a customer service rep told him the data came from Toyota. When he called Toyota on the 21st of January 2025, a representative told him he'd unknowingly signed up for a trial data sharing program when he purchased the car, and that he needed to opt out to stop it. Nobody had ever clearly explained any of this to him. 6 months later, when his policy came up for renewal, the rate had jumped above $400 a month with no explanation at all. In April of 2025, Siefke filed a class action lawsuit in federal court in Texas against Toyota, Progressive, and Connected Analytic Services, a data aggregator affiliated with Toyota. The suit alleges violations of the Federal Wiretap Act, the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, and invasion of privacy. But here's where it gets worse. A federal judge ruled in December of 2025 that the entire case had to go to arbitration because when Siefke bought his car and accepted the connected services terms, he'd also unknowingly agreed to an arbitration clause and a class action waiver. It's buried consent stacked on top of buried consent. John Yanchunas, the attorney representing Siefke at Morgan & Morgan, framed the core problem simply: the consumer is unaware it is happening. So, what has the government actually done about any of this? The biggest regulatory action to date is the Federal Trade Commission's case against General Motors. A settlement reached in January of 2025 was finalized a year later, in January of 2026, as a 20-year consent order. Under that order, GM is banned for 5 years from selling geolocation and driver behavior data to consumer reporting agencies. For the full 2 decades, the company must obtain clear, affirmative consent from consumers before collecting, using, or sharing any connected vehicle data. GM also has to offer opt-out mechanisms for all U.S. consumers and is required to delete or destroy all previously retained driver data within 180 days, while also instructing third parties to do the same.